everyone. Thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. I hope you're all having a great day. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Master of One by Jada Jones and Danielle Bennett. This is I like this book, don't get me wrong. I did enjoy it, but it's long. But it was long in a good way. It didn't drag, I'll say that. It's one of those where you have to keep reading because you want to know what's going to happen next, and you keep reading, and just like plot twist after plot twist after plot twist, and you're just like, oh my god, when is it going to end? But not, like I said, not in a bad way. You're just looking forward to seeing the bad guys kind of get their comeuppance, and you like seeing the good guys win, and that's what I enjoyed about it. But anyway, I did like this novel. Let me start by saying, I'm really seeing this a lot in young adult literature, and it makes me so happy. There's definitely a lot of representation for the LGBTQ community, and you have a lot of it in this novel. But more than that, what I really love about the representation of LGBTQ community is I love the acceptance that I'm seeing in the novels. Especially here, we have a goodness gracious, their names are not there's a pronunciation guide but I'm going to say Master of Four because she is the Master of Four. And by the way, she's awesome. But she is transgender. She was born, son. And what I love is how she has this memory. It's very fleeting. It's probably just a couple lines. It's one paragraph just to give some backstory on this character. Because like I said, long story, lots of action, a lot going on, so you're really drawn into it. But I do love this one paragraph how she tells her father that no, sorry, you don't have a son, you have a daughter, and she has the acceptance and love of her father, and I love that about it. See, he doesn't disown her because of her identity. He disowns her because of her profession. He's like, come on, you're supposed to carry on my job, and you want to be a stage actor? He's like, no, it's going to end badly for you. No, I will not abide that. Well, while I think, we as parents should support our kids in all their dreams. I mean, if my son wants to grow up and be a drag queen, whatever makes him happy, I'm all for it. But I thought it was really cool to just see this acceptance and warmth, because it's not like this character doesn't have a family. She has a family, she just doesn't have the profession that they want, which I thought was kind of funny. But I did love that, and I like how this isn't the first novel I'm seeing that in with non-binary or transgender characters. I'm seeing a lot of warmth and acceptance and love that I wish I would see in real life, in the real world. I wish there was more of that in our real world, but I love how authors are, taking it so that they're writing it, they're creating wonderful stories with it so that readers can grow up with a more open-minded and accepting, households and mindsets. I think it is a step in the right direction. So I do want to applaud these authors, who, by the way, are married. So I do like that as well. I love how they are a married couple, and they are co-writing, and they are bringing representation where it's necessary. I do like that. So anyway, let's get to the story. Like I said, it's long, but I enjoyed it. The chapters are very short and sweet, but like I said, it is, it's almost 400 pages, which isn't bad. I've read books that are like 900 pages. So, no biggie. Length is not what deters me. It's usually what pacing does. Like, I don't mind reading a long book as long as the story is engaging and the pacing is kind of steady. And that's what the authors have done here. They've given me a story that, albeit is long, but I love how short these chapters are because they keep the momentum up. The authors, they really do focus on building that momentum and keeping it up and making the story engaging. There are lots of elements that are going into this novel. There's lots of really cool plot twists that I enjoyed reading, and that is why I ultimately really did enjoy this story. I do love the dynamic between the characters. I do love how Rags is the underdog here. He really is the underdog of the group. He's supposed to be master of 5, but he's a thief. He grew up on the streets, and then lo and behold, he's kind of sucked into this whole corporate espionage thing that he really wants no part in. He's just like, oh shit. He has quite the mouth on him, I will say that. Really just be mindful of that if you're picking up this book. He does have a bit of a mouth on him, which, again, not terrible, but sorry, my son's doing something. I want to make sure I just got a little distracted. I do like that he has a mouth on him, because usually you think, your heroes in your books, they don't really have sailors' mouths, but Rags does. And I love how he doesn't really think he's worthy half the time either. He is very much the underdog in this novel, and that's what I, did like here. I liked that he is the underdog, and I like his very foul mouth, and I love his dynamic with Shining Talon. I think they're great. Shining Talon is he's a fae. He's been asleep for like 700 years. He does not get Rags humor. He does not get human humor, which I think, we can say that, elves, humans, totally different sorts of humor there. But I do like how it is explored in this novel. I do appreciate the dynamics. I do appreciate the LGBTQ representation between these two male characters. And then you have, you do have Innes. She is amazing. She's master of 2. And I love how she's a girl. Pretty much she's been stripped of everything because her brother was found guilty of treason. That opening chapter, it really does set off a whole chain of events, which I thought were really cool. So you're really intrigued by this sorcerer. You're intrigued by everything that is happening in this novel. And I think it's really cool how the story evolves. And I think it's really cool how the magic is kind of explored in this novel as well. It is unique. I do like this mirror magic that the lying one, I'm going to call him because he really is the lying one. Not a fan of Morian, but we're not supposed to. He is the villain along with the queen. Wow, those two. Is it any wonder there's a resistance against them? No. Is it any wonder her own kids turn against her? No. No wonder at all. But, speaking of her kids, there's some Master of 3, I just had the pronunciation guide on me too. But I like how he is disabled. He has muscle atrophy, atrophy in his, his right side, his leg and his arm, the muscles just never formed properly, and he spent his whole life feeling sort of imperfect. But I do like that he's one of our heroes. He relies a lot on his mind, and I do like how his construct, his part of the machine is an owl, because you think owl, you think Athena, you think wisdom. And I liked that. I was very keen on that part of the novel. So I did like him as a character. I thought he was a very thoughtful character. And I'll say this, I love how all the characters are different. They are not the same at all in any form. These are all very different characters, and I like how different they are. I like how they don't even all like each other. They don't get along 100% of the time. That's another thing I like. There's a lot of resentment, with Rags. He's a street rat. He doesn't really get the whole royal court stuff. He's been dealt a really bad hand. He's a thief. He's very selfish. He does grow a moral compass throughout the story. But you can see him. He tries so hard. He's like, I don't want it. I don't want this moral compass. And that's what I thought was really cool. How he is kind of our reluctant hero here. But there's so much more to him than just being the reluctant hero and the thief that turns good. He doesn't really fit into these classic tropes, and I did appreciate that the authors did try to stay away from cliches with their storytelling. I did like that, And so, I hope there is a sequel. I really do hope that there is going to be a sequel, because I think this is a book that deserves a sequel, and I really want to see the Lying One and the Queen. I really want them to get their comeuppance, because they deserve it. For all the horror and all the bloodshed, they definitely deserve their comeuppance. So, once again, this was Master of One by Jada Jones and Danielle Bennett. Highly recommend this novel. Once again, really good LGBTQ representation, really strong character dynamics, really good plot. I love the intricacy of the plot. I love how it moves and builds on top of itself to reach that final climax. I do think it is a really engaging and thoughtful story overall. So once again, Master of One. I'm going to go ahead and give this book 4 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, I recommend purchasing it off of bookshop.org. If you want to go ahead and check out the book, because money is a little tight, which, trust me, I get it, I recommend checking out the book from your local library. And on that note, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And as always, happy reading.